We all know how good Nikola Jokic is, and we all know how good he can be. Being a two-time MVP, it's obvious that Jokic is arguably the best center in the game and has been the best center for a while now. But the question on a lot of people's mind is how good can this Denver Nuggets team be? Coming into this season, a lot of people had the Nuggets high up on their list of coming out on the Western Conference. And it seemed like a lot of people were predicting them to be the Western Conference champs by the time the postseason came around. I personally had a lot of doubts. I didn't know if Jokic had the pieces to be around him to be able to compete in the playoffs, and there's it's still to this day a lot of questions on how good this team can be. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, back to the second episode of our X Factor Standouts here on the X Factor Sports Network. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe for all your NBA coverage, daily NBA coverage, special videos like this. We got a lot of playlists. We got a lot of series coming your way, so be sure to stay tuned in. Let me preface this by saying this. I really do like Jokic a whole lot. He's one of my most favorite guys, one of my most favorite people when it comes to it on a nightly basis to watch because the game just looks so easy for him, the way he controls the floor and controls momentum. But my question's always been who is going to help him out. I think a couple years ago, it was obviously Jamal Murray, but then it was who's going to help those two. But Murray coming off an injury, I think it was a lot of questions of can he come back healthy into the position he was before. And up to this point, we really haven't seen it. We've seen maybe some flashes. We've seen some bright spots. But consistently, Murray's not the guy he was before he got injured. And there was a lot of potential and a lot of hope with a guy like Michael Porter Jr., who is also another guy who consistently gets hurt, consistently is off the floor, who has all the tools to be really successful. But when it comes down to it, availability is the best ability, and he's not available on a consistent basis. The Nuggets have brought in guys like KCP, who is a nice 3-and-D kind of guy. His 3-point shot kind of comes and goes, it seems like, here and there. They've got guys as well as like Vlatko Konchar, who is a nice role player who seems to have found a role here in Denver. Bones Highland is a nice piece off their bench. They've got their backup big situation very interesting. They've got DeAndre Jordan and Zeke Naji. So I think they need to address that. And Bruce Brown is a guy that I really, really enjoy, who I really considered making this video about today because I do think he'll play a big role for this team. But I think the Nuggets have found a hidden gem in Aaron Gordon this season. Gordon, this is his third year in Denver. This is his 8th year in the league. Right now, he's averaging 16.7 points, 6.4 rebounds, 2.1 assists, 0.7 steals, and 0.7 blocks on 61% from the field, which is a phenomenal split. That's a career high. He's also shooting 38.5% from three, which is also a very, very good split there. Why I've put Aaron Gordon as this team's X factor is very important. I think right now he's been this team's second best player consistently through this season. We've seen him go for big nights where he's put up a lot of high numbers, shooting very, very efficiently. He lit up the Mavericks not too long ago and only missed about 3 or 4 shots the whole game. But it's very important that Nikola Jokic has a second piece right now in this time of the season that can help him, and be consistent. Gordon is close to averaging his career high in points. He's off by just like a 0.8 points or something. Nothing spectacular there. But Jokic needs the help, and Gordon has been that throughout this point. We've seen him be able to create his own shot. We've seen him be able to spot up and be a spot up shooter, but also facilitate for others and control the glass, which I think is very, very important. Why it's so important is because when you have a guy like Jamal Murray, who hasn't been consistent up to this point, when you have a guy like Michael Porter Jr., who can't seem to stay on the floor, Jokic needs a guy that can help carry the load throughout the regular season to where not everything is falling on Jokic, like we kind of see in Dallas with Luka, where Luka has a bad game because it seems like he's so exhausted, so worn out. And Aaron Gordon has been that reliable second piece, and I think that's very important because he's earning the team's respect that they go up against every single night. Teams are having to to really respect his game and challenge him on the defensive end, because if not, he can light you up and go off for a big game. So I think that's very important, because in this time where we see Jamal Murray try to get back to his old ways and try to be that number 2 reliable kind of guy, and where we see a guy like Michael Porter Jr., you know, try to stay healthy long enough to get a big run going for this team, Aaron Gordon is that reliable second piece carrying this Nuggets team alongside Jokic to where they're at right now in this Western Conference. And it's very important, because as the season goes on, and as Jamal Murray, when and if Jamal Murray comes back to the way he was before, he's going to be that second piece. And then if you see Michael Porter Jr. come back and he's very solid, and you see him stay consistent on the floor, Aaron Gordon could potentially be your 4th option on the offensive end. And I think with how well he's playing and how well he's shooting, that is potentially very, very scary for opposing teams to go up against this Denver Nuggets. What I like most about Aaron Gordon with this team is Aaron Gordon can be a ball handler. Aaron Gordon can be a spot-up shooter. Aaron Gordon can be a facilitator. When you have a guy like Jamal Murray, he can be a pick-and-roll kind of guy, roll to the rim and get highlight dunks, crash the boards, be really, really solid. But he also seems to fit really well with Nikola Jokic. He plays off really well with Nikola Jokic. When Jokic has the ball, he knows when to cut to get a wide-open layup, wide-open dunk, whatever the case is. And the potential, I think, especially in the playoffs, is you could exploit defenses with how they match up against Jokic and Gordon, because Gordon could be a ball handler in a pick-and-roll with Jokic. Gordon could be the screener in a pick and roll with Jokic. He could be a pop out guy for threes. It all just depends on both those guys have the ability to pick and pop, pick and roll, and facilitate or score. So I think the floor is going to open up for Aaron Gordon as this team gets healthier throughout the year, and we're only going to see him continue to be pretty dominant and be a solid second option for this team. And I think if this Denver Nuggets team has a deep playoff run, like a lot of people are expecting and a lot of people are hoping for, Aaron Gordon is going to be this X factor for this team to carry them in the long haul. We appreciate you guys tuning in. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Be sure to stay tuned in for this series. We got another video coming out soon. I'll be covering the Kings and who their X factor is. Let me know down below if you agree, what you've seen from Aaron Gordon and what you like, and if there's another guy on that team you think's the X factor. We appreciate you guys. Until then, we will see you all later.